What up, world? How's it going? It's your boy Big Seven. I am back with another one. I hope everybody's been doing the work, the shadow work mainly, taking care of the loved ones, staying up on praying and doing what's needed to move forward in these hard times today. I'm so thankful for everybody who's been on the page. I'm so thankful for people still rocking with your boy. All my day ones, I love you guys. All my newcomers, I love you guys as well. Come on in, like, comment, subscribe on the videos, and you're always welcome. I just want you guys to know you're always welcome. I'm not your average content creator. I'm one of those that's going to get messages out there when God gives them to me. So you're not going to see me displaying or putting 20 videos a day out there or 20 videos a week. You may get 2-3 videos a week, or you may get 2-3 videos a month from me, and that's how God has done it with me. So I move how God tells me to move. So I'm thankful for being able to be like that. Some people have to keep going because this is their job. So I'm just a messenger, so this is my job for God, but this is not my job out in the world. So God has allowed me to be able to do this when I need to. Maybe it'll become, um maybe it'll become more permanent. Who knows, when God has me put in that position to be more permanent and I have more time and I'm making more off of this instead of my job. But at the moment, God has told me what to do, and that's how we're gonna do it. I want to thank you guys again for rocking with your boy. Without further ado, let's get to it. Your past person's going through reaping what they have sown. That's what's happening right now. See, a lot of people think that reaping what you're sowing is based on what you say. Reaping and sowing is based on action. This is why a lot of people are struggling right now. And a lot of people have problems lying to spiritual people like me, because I know the laws of reaping and sowing. I know the laws of how things work with the universe. When you trying to reap what you sow, you actually got to sow the things you say you want. And sowing is based on how you come up to the world, the actions you display and put out there. That's why I always tell people, do good, be a great person, because those actions that you're putting out in the universe is telling the universe that this is the type of things that you want in return. So they return to you. So now you're reaping those actions that you have sown into the planet, into the universe. So what's going on with your exes? They're reaping exactly what they sown. They put out horrible actions when they were with you. They displayed horrible actions. They lied, they cheated, they had situationships on you. This is what they are reaping. And they're kind of confused because a lot of people are like this. They think that they leave a good situation and they're going to find another one. You're not going to find another one because you didn't plant that. When you was with that great person, you didn't plant great things. You were the problem. You planted problems. You lied, cheated, you created situationships. You did things behind their back. That's what's going to come back. Whatever action you displayed out there into the world is what's going to return. That's why you see I see a lot of this happening with a lot of women today. where they can't find men, or they can't find what they want, because a lot of them have lied. A lot of them have lied about how they came up in that past or couple past relationships that they've had. And they want people to believe that they were this goody goody two shoes. But if you see their life on display and what's going on in their life, you can tell they weren't too great in their past relationships, because they can't find what they say they want. Because it's not about what you say you want, it's about what you put out there to show that you want what you say you want. If you say you want something, your actions have to line up with what you say you want for it to return to you. So you're reaping what you have sown. If you sow horrible situation, you sow horrible actions, you sow bad attitudes, you sow all of these things that aren't great. That's what's going to return. Not what you say, what you do. What you do is sowing into the ground as if it's being planted. So that's what's going to grow. And that's what's happening to your past person, is now they're starting to see on display everything that they put out on display. They're starting to see situationships pop up in their life. No one's honest. No one wants anything real in their life, because this is what they displayed to you. They played games with you. They never fully committed to you. They wanted to dangle the relationship in front of your face like it was cheese to the mouse, or it was a carrot to the rabbit. They didn't ever want to fully commit. So you know what's going on in their life? They're linking up with people that's dangling a relationship like a carrot in front of a rabbit, or cheese in front of a mouse. They're arguing with people like they argued with you. They're being lied to like you were lied to from them. Everything that they put out into the universe, everything that they planted, they're reaping. And I try to tell people this is how things work. And a lot of people don't want to listen. So they go out there living their life how they want to live it. And then they're miserable. They become miserable because you lived your life how you want to live it. And that's what's returning. So now you're going to be miserable because you planted a bunch of miserable things. You wasn't a great person. You didn't have a great attitude towards great things. So now great things are not popping up in your life because you didn't cherish it. You didn't put a great attitude back out there into the universe when you had those things. So it told the universe to return exactly what you wanted. And that was arguing, lying, cheating, situationships. So now this is what your person is going around doing. They're mad because they want you. And they've always wanted you. But they didn't want to do right by you in order to receive you back. So a lot of these people that came up against you, or a lot of these past exes, are struggling with the fact that there's no avenue back to you, and there's no avenue back to anybody that's like you, because they didn't create that. They didn't sow into you, into the relationship like they should have. They didn't plant back into the universe with any good like they were supposed to receive that back. So they're receiving exactly what they planted, which was horrible relationships, arguments, lies, And they're going with it. I always often tell people you can tell if a person's lying by looking at their life. Just look at their life and see what's going on in their life. What they have planted is on display for people to see. That's what people don't get. What they have planted is on display. So if you see a person miserable for years after having a great situation, it's because they didn't sow back into that great situation. That great situation was taken away from them because their actions showed that they didn't want that great situation. So now they're receiving back what they sold into that great situation, which was horrible time, horrible things. And that great situation that they had, or that great person that was in their life, is going on to reap what they sowed. So if that great person sowed great things into them, they're going and reaping that back. So you'll oftentimes see one person from the relationship that moves forward and has a great life, has a great time finding a great person because they sold great things into this horrible person, even when they were horrible. And the horrible person only sold horrible things. So they're receiving all of that horrible stuff back. That's why you see so many broken people today. All you got to do is look. All you got to do is look. You get what you sow. If you're not sowing anything good, it's not coming back. This is actions. So a lot of people lie, but you see they're receiving back the actions they put out. Like, you can lie all you want. I'm just looking at your life. People get mad at me because I'm looking at your life and seeing exactly what you're getting back. So then I know, hey, yeah, you must have had a bunch of situationships when you was with that dude. You must have been a liar because this dude seemed to always be lying to you. Mm-hmm. You must have didn't do too much because this person don't do too much for you. You're getting back everything that you put into the universe. This is why I always teach people, do what you want done back, because that's what's returning. If you want it in return, do it, because that's what's returning. That's why I keep telling people, that's what's returning to your life. So do what you say you want in return. Do it to the people that's coming into your life. Put it on display in your actions. Stop saying it and put it on display in your actions. Because this is what's happening with your past. They out here still lying. That's why they're receiving lies back. They out here still not apologizing for their action. That's why no one's apologizing and hurting them. They out here still pretending. That's why they only receiving people that's coming into their life pretending. They're living a very miserable life behind the scenes because this is what's happening. They're receiving exactly all of the miserable stuff they put into the ground. They placed out into the universe. They want you to think that they're living a high life, but you know how things work. So this is why they don't like how you've grown, because now you know how things work. So if they start pretending, you already know that it's a game. You already know they're pretending. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that you can see and visualize what's going on in their life, because you know how reaping and sowing works. You know how things work. So now they're pretending more than ever because they're trying to hide what's really going on in their life. But how can you hide it? Ultimately, you already know how they treated you. You know they lied to you. You know they slandered your name. You know they tried to pin everything that they did on you to make it look like you did it to them. You already know all of these things. So if you know all of these things, you know they did all of these things. You know that's what they're receiving. You ain't you ain't gotta go running around and looking for what's going on in their life. You ain't gotta go and asking people, oh, what are they doing? You ain't gotta go being you ain't even worried about them really, but you ain't gotta do none of that to even know what's going on in their life. You already know just by how they treated others, just by how they treated you, just by the love that they didn't show to you. They're not getting any love back because they didn't show any love. Things are falling apart because that's what they did in the good relationships and friendships and stuff that they had. And they're thinking that getting back to you is going to change that. And it may have some effect, but ultimately they have the power to change their own life. They don't understand that. So they keep putting out there into the universe horrible things, which keeps returning, which keeps their life on a downward spiral. Because they think all they need to do is say something or pray and things is just gonna be great. Praying is great, but praying only works when you work. Praying only works when you put out there what's needed for the prayer to work. So prayer is like a door, and you have the key, right? You have the key. You can't open this door unless you put the key in there to open the door. So if you're praying without a key, how can you open a door? You can't. And you gain all of the keys, you get all of the keys when you're doing the things you need to do to get all of the keys. You can't get the keys to what you say you want if you're not doing and putting on display what you say you want. Also, all you're doing when you pray for things you say you want and you're not willing to put out the actions to go and get that thing that you say you want, all you're doing is blocking your own blessings because you're praying for things that you say you want but not willing to do the work to get them. It's like faith without works is dead because you're not putting your part in this in this situation for those things to return. Faith without works is you got to do the works. You have to do the part where you do what you need to do for the universe to return what you say you want. And that's where they're having a roadblock because their actions don't line up to what they say they want. So they're reaping exactly what they've sown because what they've sown is attached to their actions and they don't understand that. It's not attached to your words. So they're going to continue to hit a roadblock because you need to attach what you say you want to your actions, not your words. That's what you need to do. You need to attach what you say you want to your actions, not your words. And they're having a problem with that. So your past person is looking to you because you always had the actions to get what you needed and want. And as long as they were attached to you, they can indulge in the results of your actions because they never put out the actions to get what they wanted. All they did was live off your actions and seeing that you got results because of your actions. All they did was talk. Talking gets nowhere. Talking is just words. So when they looked at you, they seen results because you were willing to place yourself where you needed to place yourself by doing the work. So they're living in a state of turmoil because they're not willing to do the work. And they're living in turmoil because as long as they stay stuck to thinking that their reputation is should be at the forefront of their actions, they're never going to do the actions needed to build a good reputation. See how that works? You're so stuck. They're so stuck to their reputation, but yet lost from their actual reputation. This is a mess because how you're glued to wanting a great reputation, but not knowing that what you do builds the type of reputation that you say you want. So to say you want a great reputation with people, but your actions don't say that, it's going to run you into a roadblock every time because your actions is attached to what you're receiving, which builds a great reputation every time. So you're building a horrible reputation because you don't know that it's more about the actions than the words. You can't lie yourself into a great reputation because your reputation is based on the actions that you have put out there into the world. So lying to get a great reputation doesn't build a great reputation. Actions build a great reputation. So in the end, you're still going to need action in order to have a great reputation. Words cannot get you a good reputation. Actions have to. Because a reputation is built over time of great what? Action. Great display. Great things being done. It's like a company. A company doesn't build a great reputation by saying, we are the best. We do this, and that. We are the best. They build a great reputation by being that. See, that's just a slogan for what they are. If they say that all the time, but they don't be it, now you have built up a lie. And now people will walk away and your reputation is ruined. This is what they're learning in life. That you can't just say things. Well, you can. But the actions that come behind what you say have to line up. That's what they're learning. That if your actions don't line up with what you say, your reputation will take a turn for the worst. So they're hurt because their only solution to fixing their problem is getting back to you because they don't want to do the actions to turn around their lives. They seen you do the action. So all they want to do is attach themselves back to you and watch you do the action and get results, because they don't know how to do the action to get results. They just lie. And lying doesn't build results. Action builds result. Action builds great reputation. Action forms who you are as a person. So that's what's going on. Your past person fighting with themselves because they don't want to do the action. They don't want to put out in the world what they're trying to reap. They're sowing horrible action into the ground, watering it, and see it return, and then be confused about it returning because that's what they planted. Because they don't know how to put out great action to get great return. So, guys, that was my video. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I apologize to everybody who's been waiting, or who stay waiting for me. I know I take my time, but I love you all. You guys have been rocking with your boy for so long, and you guys are so patient. It's amazing. I love you guys. I'm gonna try to do a couple more lives because I miss my people. I just wanted to put those messages out there, give people something to eat up and eat on. That's what God gives me. Gives me a little bit of something, and I distributed it out and let people eat on it, and do with it what they can and apply it to their life if they can. So once again, guys, thanks again. The shadow work. Please, guys, work on yourselves. Do the shadow work. Be looking at your actions. Be looking at everything that you're doing and pay attention to what you need to work on. It's how you do shadow work and get better. Working on those things that are destroying your life and putting a stop to them. That's how you get better. So continue to take care of your loved ones. Continue to take care of who you're responsible for. Continue to do the praying, do the work, do everything you need to do. Become who you say you want to become out in this world. Let's do it, guys. God wants you to grow. I want you to grow. I'm here for you. I love you. So once again, throw something in the Cash App if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. And continue to be who you've been. With that being said, it's your boy 7, and I'm